taxes, and Joe Burrow relentlessly getting pummeled. The Cincinnati Bengals have tried their best to fix the problem, swap out the talent, but game after game, down after down, he keeps getting obliterated. In his 28-game career, he's been sacked 96 times, which is the second most ever, and through 3 games this year, he's been sacked the most with 15. Last year, it was also the most at 51, and that's not even including the 9 he took against the Titans in the divisional round or the 7 against the Rams in the Super Bowl. Without good pass protection, nothing on the offense can function, which is what makes the Bengals' run to the Super Bowl so impressive and why their struggles this year are so not surprising. They have a lot of problems, but I believe they can be grouped into 3 core problems. Bad execution, a bad scheme, and Burrow himself deserves a little slice of the blame as well. But before we look closer at all 3, I want to thank today's sponsor Mojo, a sports stock market that lets you invest in the careers of athletes. Are you ready to buy low on some slow starts and watch the stock soar? Are you ready to sell high on some unsustainable performances? Well, Mojo is just the place. Every single athlete has a stock price that rises and falls in real time based on their on-field performance, news, and market sentiment, and you can trade 365 all day, all year long. Each stock is based on objective stats, so there's no confusion, and you can buy or sell a stock literally at any time after a play, a game, a season, or a career, and then cash in big. Mojo is available in New Jersey on iOS, and by just downloading the app, you will get your first stock free, worth up to $10,000. Must be 21 plus and physically located in New Jersey to trade on Mojo. Have a gambling problem? Help is available at 1-800-GAMBLER. Okay, so basically with defenses playing Burrow a little differently this year, that's made all the difference in the world. He's facing the second most snaps of cover 2 zone or cover 2 man, which are coverages that keep 2 deep safeties, and those are played to limit Jamar Chase and T. Higgins from going deep and forces Burrow to throw underneath. His average depth of target has fallen nearly 2 yards from his career average to just 6.6, which is 25th in the league, and the Bengals have slid from the 6th most explosive offense all the way down to the 25th. Burrow has had to target almost exclusively underneath because of these 2 deep safeties, but also because of his horrible offensive line. There are many problems up front, which has caused him to throw quicker, so our first core problem, execution, or lack thereof, has made Burrow's life way harder. First off, right tackle La'el Collins and left tackle Jonah Williams have been, major liabilities, so they get smoked right off the ball way too often, but the rest of the line creates problems even when there aren't any. Sure, Collins gets destroyed by using terrible technique, but what I want to focus on is Ted Karras the center and Cordell Volson the guard. Karras backs up deeper in case he's getting a stunt, but watch Volson slide backwards right into Burrow's lap. The last thing quarterbacks want is pressure right in their face. Well, that includes their own guys too. Volson has struggled. As I said, the tackles have each struggled. And while bad execution can mean many things, the most important aspect of good execution is good technique. Here on 1st and 10, the Bengals want to get to one of their staple shot concepts 9-8-9, which is 2 go balls and a middle read route. But as defenses have been doing all season, they're playing super soft to limit the deep ball and force Burrow to hold the ball longer, so the offensive line gets exposed. So he checks to double comebacks, or 3-8-3, and just needs his pass pro to hold up on a 5-step drop, but Jonah Williams can't. His technique has been brutal, and we have a good example of that here. First off, he's not kicking out far enough to protect the edge in case of the speed rush, which is what Alex Highsmith is using. So since he's not in good position outside, he has to overreach and extend to cut off that angle, which saps away all his power. Think of hitting a pass rusher similar to if you were throwing a punch. You're not going to have any power with this kind of footwork. And even though Highsmith misses the chop, Williams has no power to push him out of the way, and disaster ensues. Each guy in the line takes repeated L's one-on-one, and honestly, it's some of the worst offensive line play in the entire league. When your players can't win one-on-one matchups, you have to turn to scheme, our second problem, to make it so your linemen aren't lining up 1v1 again and again, but Zach Taylor hasn't been able to help them. He's left his guys on islands for the most part, so their most glaring weaknesses are exposed to the max. No matter how much Burrow gets punished, none of the things the Bengals have tried have worked at all. There are some attempts at adjustments, like trying a little more play action so the pass rush can't just fly upfield, but the scheme and a bit of the execution isn't good enough. This is the Patriots' trap pass play I talked about with Kurt Warner, where it looks like a run, leaves the defensive end unblocked, and has the guard trap him while the tight end looks like he's blocking and sneaks across for a pass. As Brady said, Gronk has about 50% of his career production from this concept, and when done right, it's really good, but with the Bengals version, there are some issues. First, TJ Watt is the guy we're leaving unblocked. Sketch. The rookie Volson is the guy we're asking to block him. Doubly sketch. And absolutely nobody is open when Burrow is ready to throw, and there's a reason for that too. The Bengals have some obvious tendencies. When they're in shotgun, they pass 87% of the time, which is the third highest rate in the league. So Devin Bush isn't exactly terrified Hayden Hurst is going to come and block him and can just kind of get in the way. Plus, let's watch this from TJ Watt's perspective. Let's say this starts out and he really does think this is a run. The goal of the concept is for him to fly towards the ball carrier up the line of scrimmage. Well, when looking at Burrow's fake, who doesn't know this is a pass? Which makes Volson's job that much more difficult. This next one is something I've literally never seen in an actual game before in all the years I've done this, and that's widening the split of just the tackle to one side of the field. My best guess is to attempt to neutralize Watt. My guess? But there's a reason why teams never do this. There is a gaping hole in the middle of your line, and on wide zone runs like this one that are often designed to cut back, well, with Collins out in the 12th row, that ain't happening anymore. It also even further isolates him outside on Watt, so not only is it not helping anybody else, it's hurting him even more. These schematic deficiencies limit their offense before the play even starts, so they're already at a disadvantage. And even if you don't have great players, like on their offensive line, putting anybody in a bad position pre-snap is gonna make it near impossible to have success. We've seen Burrow in plenty of these situations this year, which is why he struggled so badly. But transitioning to our third problem, well, he's put this offense in bad looks plenty too. He hasn't been great before the snap, after the snap, and by not resetting protections, he's gotten hit more than he should. This comes on 3rd and 4 with the first down at the 35. The Bengals have 3 receivers at the bottom, with the Cowboys showing clear man coverage with a cover 0 blitz, meaning no deep safeties. Looking at the tight angle, we can see Parsons fly off the edge and deliver an absolute shot to Burrow, but I think this is on him for not adjusting the protection. The Cowboys are showing 7 pass rushers against just 6 blockers, so this raises some alarms that we could have a free runner, and we do get one, but from the Cowboys just rushing 4. The Bengals are sliding 3 with their center to the right, with Volson and Williams man blocking and Drew Sample in the A-gap. But the problem is, since we only have these 3, what if some of these rushers don't come and Parsons... crap, there he goes. Well, I think Burrow could have solved this. With 3 receivers at the bottom and just needing 4 yards, there's no way the Cowboys actually expect their safety off 9 yards to be able to make this play, so they're gonna have somebody drop out. Right now, Parsons is the extra rusher, meaning he's unaccounted for if these 3 rush, since, remember, it's 7 on 6. But since Burrow knows that one guy is gonna drop out to help against a quick Hayden Hurst route with the safety so deep, he should have readjusted who the extra rusher would be. Bring Sample over to create 4 for 4, then have Volson squeeze the A-gap, Williams the B, and leave Dorrance Armstrong the unblocked extra rusher. That means if they do really bring everybody, Hurst will have that one-on-one easy money for the first. I will say, I do think this is partially also on Collins, since they're supposed to fan out when these guys aren't blitzing, You can see Alex Kappa's hand on him to move him out. But Burrow putting Collins in the position to read this all out and guard Micah Parsons while doing it is just a bad situation to put him in. Teams keep finding ways to get hits on Burrow, and still, there are things he can do to counter them. The Jets are showing cover one man with one deep safety, but are only lining up 2 defenders against the Bengals' 3 receivers at the bottom. They have 6 on the line for the Bengals' 5 blockers, and there's really nobody else that can guard Tyler Boyd but CJ Mosley. However, Burrow still doesn't change the line's Ricky call, which slides 4 to the right, and that creates a free, unnecessary hit on him. All of these Bengals problems keep compounding, which has led to inflicting more and more punishment on Burrow's body. He's one of the most sacked quarterbacks through his first 30 games ever, and unlike last year, this offense is struggling because of it. Teams don't even have to blitz that much, just 22%, which is 28th ranked, because they know this O-line struggles with execution. In fact, Burrow's been sacked 11 times when not blitzed, which reflects on some of these struggles with scheme. And to be honest, a lot more of this is on Burrow than anybody cares to admit. He's only been pressured the 16th most, but when pressured, his sack rate is the 2nd highest. This is not a one-year problem for the Bengals, but a recurring theme that continues to haunt them. They have a young, legitimate franchise quarterback, but the more punishment he takes, they might not have him for long. Coming fresh off a Super Bowl appearance, the Bengals have proven they can win in the playoffs. With a disappointing 1-2 start, let's see if, despite the pain, they can fix these 3 problems and regain some of their magic.